Live. Yeah. Yes, sir. Now we are on live. Insta.
Okay, right then. Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone joining us today for today's Friday Forum. We are also going live on YouTube. So, welcome to the startups and the SMEs who are joining us over YouTube. So, today's session is about getting to understand millets and the millet supply chain. So,
Now we are on live.
yeah, understanding, right then. Very good afternoon and a warm welcome to everyone joining us today. Okay. So today's session, so as we know that understanding the need to promote the diversity and nutritional and ecological benefits of millets, after the proposition of the Government of India, United Nations has declared the year 2023 as the International Year of Millets. So as we step into the International Year of Millets in barely 2 months' time from now, we see a lot of action building up in the millet ecosystem. Today, in this session of ours, we will try to uncover the millet supply chain from various lenses, trying to decipher its importance, the challenges faced in the supply chain, supports in place from the government as well as from the private sector. And we will try to delve into something what is more required in this particular area to promote millets further. So for this and to continue this discussion further, experts joining in for this session. So let me introduce our panel for the day. So we have Dr. Ravi Nandi, Joint Advisor, Agriculture and Allied Sector, Niti Aayog. We have Mr. Manoj Agrawal, Chief Operating Officer, National Institute of Agriculture Marketing, Agribusiness Incubator. We have Dr. Sarvanand Raj, Director, Agriculture Extension of National Institute of Agricultural Extension and Management. We have Dr. K. Karthikeyan, CEO, AIC, Atal Incubation Center, Assam Agriculture University, with whom we work very closely with. And to mention, we have Dr. Chintan Vaishnav, Mission Director, Atal Innovation Mission. Unfortunately, he is running a little behind schedule, so he hasn't been able to join in as of now. But what I'm given to understand, he should be here in the next 5 to 7 minutes. But we will not delay this session further. So till the time he joins in, let me just take over the mantle for some time and just throw open this floor. And I'll just start with the very basic of discussions. Like we say that millets are the next superfood of the world, and that's how it's quintessential essential for what the food security, not only of India, but the entire world. So I'll just want to ask Dr. Ravi Nandi, why do you feel that millets are so important for food security of the country and maybe for a global perspective as well?
Yeah, thank you, Pramilji. Thank you very much for giving us opportunity to interact with a very wide and diverse and group from various corners of this country. So before going to the millet, I would like to understand the history of our Indian agriculture, not beyond before Green Revolution, maybe after independence or post Green Revolution. India has made a significant advancement in terms of food grain production, which is transcended from food deficit, that is, ship to mouth situation, to food surplus country. Now we have more than 310 million metric ton food grain production, 330 million metric tons of fruits and vegetable production, 210 million metric tons of milks, and in various other commodities we are front across the globe. But this increased food grain production has not translated into our nutritional indicators. For instance, still we are, more than 200, around 200 population in the country suffering from triple burden of malnutrition, that is undernutrition, overnutrition, and hidden hunger, that is micronutrient deficiency, which not shows significance or symptoms outside, which is hidden within the, especially among growing children below 5 years range. So in this context, before 1980s, the millets, they have the increasing trend of production as well as consumption. After post in 1980s, the millets production as well as consumption significantly reduced. In 1980s, the millet consumption was just around 33 kgs per capita, and it reduced to around 4 kgs during recent past. The reason, the green revolution has made a significant impact, and also at the same time some negative impacts as well. Of course, that was the need of that our those days to make sure our Indian population to food secure, but it gave the impact on declining the crop diversity across the country. We skewed our production to starchy cereals that indirectly or directly affected the consumption pattern of Indian farmers. So this is how the production system has changed, both on commercial aspects and also the disappearance of the very important nutri-cereals like millets in our food baskets. So of course the millets are a powerhouse of these nutritions. This is the from poor man's to the alternatives to for the nutrition and health, and they are climate resilient. They are not vulnerable to and common pests and diseases as well, and they conserve uses less resources which are very scarce or other the inputs like fertilizer, pesticides, so on and so forth. So in this context, millets play a very, very important role in achieving the food security, not only in India and across the developing world. If you take the production aspects, around more than 91 countries are growing millets across the world, of which only 7 countries are having more than 1 million hectare area, of which India is playing a very important role, supplying more than 40% for the total production baskets. This is impacting not only domestic consumption and livelihood aspects, and global markets also, in terms of supplying the millets in raw form or value added form. That is where there is a need for innovations and new technologies to take millets to the next level to address not only Indian population, even the beyond. Yeah, and now I may stop. Maybe I will again come back and we go along.
Sure. Thanks, Dr. Nandi. I think Dr. Chintan is also in. So, sir, I was just filling in for your position. So we just started off with the discussion about why millets are so important for the food security of the country. So we just touched upon that bit of that point of it, and now we just move forward from here.
Thank you so much, and sorry to be a little late. I was in another meeting from which I couldn't extricate myself. So it's good to see everybody. So yes, we'll continue the conversation. I think I was reading the questions that we have drafted, and then an overarching question came to mind, which kind of touches upon other questions that we have put in place, which is that the challenge with millets, I feel, is that the whole challenge is so colossal that there are so many dimensions to solving or making millets somewhat mainstream to our consumption, production, etc. That even though a place like Atal got started by launching a challenge, the whole effort is going to take a lot more than just challenges and startups and so on, right? It's going to take public policy. It's probably going to take manufacturing. It's probably going to take even the behavior of people on the farm and the farmers. I mean, all stakeholders. So the one question that came to my mind was, if each of you were to talk about one or two problem areas where it would be great to have a solution, and then if you can also reflect upon, is this a problem area where something, or must startups work with others, like maybe larger players or the government or whatever? What is that cluster of stakeholders who must work on this problem area? So one or two problem areas. I'm imagining that a lot of people out there on this YouTube live want to hear that, and maybe even respond to it or react to it in their own work. So maybe we can start with Manojji, since you are first on my screen.
Thank you, sir. I'm getting from my side and providing opportunity for this. Hope I am audible clearly.
Yes, you are.
Yes, Manoj.
So, as Dr. Nandi said very rightly, that after 1960 there was a reduction of acreage and interest in the millet cultivation. No ability as condition situation for the rice and wheat, and due to that only the cultivation was very much declined, and it was close to percent of total production. But now, as a country, focus is there for millet production, and we have a lot of schemes, lot of focus from the government side and other stakeholders side. But the main problem rises with the acceptability of the millets in the people, because as the government has renamed the millet or coarse millet to the nutri cereals, but of course till date I think the marketability or acceptability in the people's mind is still not very much, and that is the problem where we are fighting with the millets production and acceptability. Lot many startups are working in the millets nowadays, and they have come with the products, final products, bakery products, other products, which is beautifully designed. Also, we have worked on the production part, input side, supply chain side. But that is the one thing where I think the problem persists, and we should find a. Of course, we are working on it, but a better solution can be designed for this.
Yeah, so on the consumption side, so let's come back to the consumption side in a little bit. Let's see who wants to. Let's lay out the problem areas as you see it. Can we go to you, Dr. Nandi, since I don't see others?
Yeah, sure, sir. So who can, challenges, especially in the domain of millet production, promotion, and then making it available for larger communities. The challenges lies with not only in one point, at the various levels of the value chain. So starting from the production level, we don't have, the high yielding cultivars. The production, that is a major challenge where the farmers take a step back as compared to the cash crops, or so called high value crops. At the end, they don't give a remunerative income for them. That is one thing. And goes the next level when your production is there within the available possibilities, using the available varieties and cultivars. The post production is important challenge is these millets. These are micrograins. The biggest challenge lies with the processing of these millets. We don't have a very advanced and efficient technologies which can use with the reduced transaction cost the processing of these commodities. And also another important challenge is the self life of these millets is one of the important challenge from the business perspective, or value addition perspective, to export and keep it here a long time as compared to others. Again, the risk factor is there also. And next, if you go to the extreme downside of the consumers towards, preference toward consumer has changed after 1980s, because of, it was attached to like poor man's craft. So they were everybody aspiring to consume the high value crop like wheat and rice in those days. Now again, it came back. Now it became the rich man's crop, but the production is not responding to the consumers' demand globally as well in India. So to make it happen, the holistic approach is required. Not only the production, processing, creating, awareness and value addition, export market. On top of this, enabling environment also when all the dimensions are working at its own path. So these all parameters or the factors should work to make value chain competitive, inclusive, sustainable and scalable, so that the farmers will also get the maximum share from the consumer rupees. But it is not happening as of now. The consumer farmers is getting hardly 30 to 35% from the consumer rupee what he pays at the retail outlet. Major chunk of the payment is going to the more number of mediators. So there also lies with the challenges. How can you better connect the smallholder farmers who are more in number to the collective through the
Okay, not sure if you can hear me. I have stopped seeing everybody's videos, and I've stopped hearing Dr.
Can hear you, sir.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Dr. Raj, can you hear me? Okay, you're all
I can hear you, sir. Yeah, very much.
Okay, I think for a few seconds you all went away.
Yes.
And-
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's right. Just quick, I went away. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So Dr. Raj, how do you think of challenges in millet area?
Yes, sir. I may start with a very basic thing. Anyway, many of the challenges the earlier speaker were covering, but as a person from agriculture extension, maybe I touch upon. Because we are talking about rice and wheat, it took some 60 years, 6 decades to make the farmers to cultivate rice or wheat high yielding varieties. Because it is not simply cultivating something, it is a something culture. Farmer over the years and even generation they inherit. Millet also same thing. The cultivation of millet over the years they inherited. But during 1960 onwards, almost 6 decades, we had the continuous efforts to we made the millets to not to cultivated by the farmers. That means we are continuously we seen that farmers are forgetting that inheritance. That's why today suddenly we talk about all millets, but no, it's a greatest challenge. This is a challenge because it's a behavior. Over the years, cultivation or agriculture also, it is a behavior. It comes over the years and generations. But now suddenly we ask to Telangana farmers don't cultivate rice, and there's a lot of agitation. That's why basically we are. It is very challenging. That means fundamentally we need to start doing. But to be honestly talking today, whatever we see, whatever startups we talk, our value chain processing and millet products, we made it glamorized millets, and we made the millets to be very costly food. That's what earlier we referred to poor man's food. Today we made it rich man's and also very glamorized costly food, and it is not affordable by even rural people, which are very much part of their routine diet. Even Karnataka, the tradition was it was intact because over the generation, even with all the policy initiatives, other things, Ragi Mudda was one of the basic in southern part of Ragi is still the part. What happened? The people over the years, they are intact, they kept. There is a very rare case only in Karnataka or Madhya Pradesh, but other places, all the systems, extension, developmental, R&D developmental institutions, we made them to, we put a lot of efforts to forget about millets. That a huge effort, 6 decades we did. Then we need to redo that one. It really takes again 6 decades of very hard work, or we need to put all the efforts together. That means fundamentally we need to work with the system players. It is not a millet challenge or startups, and a few millet missions may not make much difference. Because we have the basic problem, and again millet is not we may not expect quickly. It's traditionally it is over the years, it is the dryland crop. It was cultivated over the years. It is not known for yielding high yielding. We can't go for suddenly high yielding, and it is something we can't change entire acclimatization of that particular crop. That means many millets going to stay as a low yielding, and it is very friendly for dryland crops. That means we need to have then continuously will get less yield. That means we need to have the complete extension system. We need to reboot it, and we need to revive our complete advisory systems for the farmer, advisory and support system. That is one major thing. Second thing, we also changed the consumption pattern. It is today compared to city people and villages, nobody likes the millet. Then it is another problem is you need to make the consumption pattern is changing. This is another biggest challenge. Then there is a second challenge that also very challenging. Only few startups or hundreds of startups also you talk or thousands of startups, they alone they can't make the consumption pattern change in the millions of the rural population. That is another challenge for us. And the third one is, we heard earlier, 40 years before, 60 years before, it's a self-sustainable seed systems. And the seed was locally available and it was circulated among the community and it was community managed seed systems that entirely we broken that last 6 decades or 4 decades. We've seen that the community seed systems are not working today. Nowhere seeds are available. That means we need to build the community seed systems, because farmers again can't afford more cost for the millets for seed, and cultivation also need to do more, and cultivation also they need to learn everything newly practices. That means there is a whole sort of complete rethinking needed, starting from cultivation to and seed to and consumption pattern. But other things already my colleagues are touched. I don't want to touch processing, all other value chain, other things. But no, basically, fundamentally, we need to do very great effort to again make millet is really cultivated by large and also consumed by large, and automatically once you change both things and supply chain, other things take care. When consumption and demand is more, always supply chains will emerge, become more efficient in reaching the even rural areas. I will stop here and I will take others later.
Yeah, that's very well said. That millets have the production and as well as consumption of millets has declined over half a century or 50, 60 years, and therefore we can't really expect it to, jump back to its high levels of consumptions in a short period. And it is going to be a sustained effort at very many levels, just from the three conversations we can say so far. Before I go to Karthik, I do want to highlight something that influenced our shaping of the challenge itself. When we were sort of wordsmithing it to see, well, so you to understand that we have a sort of some limited budget to say we're going to run so many challenges in any given area. So when we said we're going to run 4 challenges, Professor Ramesh Chand, who is a member Niti Aayog and an agriculture expert, he had a very good advice for us that the major challenge is not about how farmers will produce millet and we will get the rich world to consume millet. The major challenge is how farmer will produce as well as will be in position to consume millet, because they are the ones who need it the most. And so you will see something like, for instance, the second challenge about decentralized processing, the idea of making it affordable and easy to use for farmers first, FPOs next, and rest of the consumers later. So I think, again, sort of representative of all the work that it will take. Since Dr. Raj, you brought up startups into picture, let's go to Karthik, see if he is the closest, I think, among all of us working with millet startups to see what kind of work you are seeing, Karthik, and what type of challenges you are seeing.
Sir, thank you so much. My apologies, the video is just not coming up. I think Murphy's Law is at its best today, but we'll still stick to millets on that. 2 things, sir. One, I just wanted to put the context in place. Millets are typically, as we all understand, grown in the semi-arid and dry land kind of areas, and Northeast is certainly not one such. So there's not much activity around millets, I would say. But having said that, I wanted to pick from 2 statements that you just made with reference to Dr. Ramesh Chand, which was that in the whole global context, if you see, close to about 19 million plus people are dependent on millets in diets across Africa and the Asian continent itself. Almost about 55% global production is done by the African continent itself. And India does fairly a bit more than 41, 42 odd percent of production of millets. And so therefore, production enhancement has got a lot of direct proportionality with people who want to consume it. And again, coming back to it, sir, you might recall our own old days when we used to go into the rural hinterland. We get to, during our visit, see that we get to eat these coarse type of rotis, not the mulayam kind of rotis, but the hard rotis. So even the children in the rural hinterland today prefer to have the mulayam rotis, which is like this Ashirvada atta and whatnot. So there's a huge shift even in the rural belt, so to say. Maybe a sign of prosperity, you may say, sign of affordability, you may say, again, a changing consumption pattern, we could say. But a large, if we want to divide it clearly into two horizons, on the left being how it is getting produced, how it is getting consumed. If you were to see, then we see that there is a lot of scope for us to work along with startups in the production aspect of it as well. One of the major challenges that I have myself seen in my own work with SFAC, Ministry of Department of Agriculture in the past, only on FPOs and millets, specific to Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, Rajasthan. So till date, it continues that we are not able to optimize technology for handling these different types of millets because they're very small in size, different sizes in fact. And then to do the de-hulling, for example, and to reduce the removal of grids and other usable material, which is the outer casing of millets, that itself is a big challenge today. So if you were to point out what is a challenge area or a problem area, I would say getting right technology or equipment that will be efficiently able to handle these different type of millets across the country. And when we say across the country, in the dryland area of Rajasthan, it is so different, sir, from what we see in the Bundelkhand region of, say, Madhya Pradesh, for example, in the Dindoris of the world, or what we see in the Gulbargas of the world. So we may have to do a lot of customization. Technology is, of course, available. How accessible it is for farmers, farmer groups, and how much they are able to readily, adopt to it. That is one problem area. And here is where startups can do a big difference. Since you said startup, one small little final word on the first round I wanted to mention here, sir. Maybe we could look at FPOs become an incubator and our startup companies become the incubator for them. By this example or analogy, I was trying to say that FPO has several needs, including equity, finance, product development, etc., which a startup company could act as an incubator and work with them in conjunction with each other and bring about all of those things which are typically consumed in the market. This is where I would like to stop for the point here, sir. And over to you, sir.
Yeah, no, that's great, Karthik. I think that's a very that's a wonderful, because you see, one of our incubators, as you remember, Access Livelihood Consulting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In Andhra Pradesh region, also in Maharashtra, etc. They are the model they have been able to create is as if they were incubating mini Amuls in various areas, like weaving, certain agricultural commodities, etc. But essentially, what they are doing is that they are turning an FPO. They are turning something that's jointly owned in a certain and then infusing it with a technology so that the local processing, etc., capability, storage capability grows, and then thereby it strengthens that group of people, and then you take that template and strengthen another group of people, and so on. So I think this is a wonderful idea to pursue in an area like millet, I feel. Ajay, let me ask, since there's all of you here, just so you can anchor us in terms of what are some of the best practices that you are seeing that relate to millet anywhere in the world right now. It may be anywhere, it may be about any part of the value chain, but some things that you are seeing that are worth learning about, considering, replicating, etc. And any of you who's willing can go first.
Yeah, I will start. So I will go with Karthik was talking about startups. I will go with that. Actually, we have some 300 plus startups. There are considerable number of millet startups also, and we are knowledge partner for the IAMR also. We are supporting through RKV of the large number of millet startups. Only two startups I want to quote that may be way to go. One is something like JD Superfoods. It is from Maharashtra. They start up, they work with the farmers, not necessarily the farmer producer organization, even individual farmers. But it is not only buying the millets, but no, they will support the all cultivation to even processing. There is a minimum primary processing supported by the startup. And they will, after processing the farm gate, and they will take the product and processing and selling, and also there is a consumer outlets. Like the complete value chain, the startup works with the farmers, including they are trying to support with the farmer producer organization. This is a very interesting model because farmer alone now they are re-adopting the millets and they are unable to do all the things. There are a lot of inherent already challenges. These startups, as Karthi also told clearly, they can be act as incubators for not only farmer producer organization, even individual farmers wherever. There is a one thing. Second one, we have another startup at Hyderabad itself, but they work with almost 34 FPOs across the country, including millets. They do only here two things. They will identify the unique millet or other whatever unique products wherever island area, tribal area. They find out some of the unique products, including millets, and they will procure the things with the pre-contract. The agreement will be there. They will procure and there is a processing and value addition and reaching the consumers. Amai farmers like that. This may be because we may not expect only farmer producer organization farmers to better way. But here interesting thing is when farmers are selling in the farm gate, they are not getting better price, but it reaches the consumers, it goes 3 to 4 times more. What farm gate farmers are selling, what price is getting, but consumers are getting 3 to 4 times more generally, many of things. But these two startups, what I am telling, they will reach the consumers and they will see that they will offer the better price. They will take only 50% of the profit they are telling, 50% of the profit, remaining it will be the farmers because there's a contract, continuous supply they needed. That means they are having this arrangement. During this process, what happening? Farmers are getting at least not double or 3 times more compared to normal farmer who is selling the without processing is selling to the any vendors. These two models are interesting. Even if you see large number of FPOs and these things, startups need to connect and they need to support this type of things. I will stop here. Otherwise, we have large number of startups, including IAMR or different models. But these two things because along with support services and also value chain and also reaching consumers, that makes become more efficient and also sharing the income. That is something wonderful, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sarman, one quick question. So, so I think one thing you highlighted is that the value creation is about 3 to 4 times the value at the farm gate, right? I mean that speaks to the opportunity that's in front of people. Now, are these startups that you gave examples at, are they growing in their market? I mean, how fast are they growing?
Yeah, they are growing, sir. For example, they are just there are 4 years old. They are incubated, and millet there is a lot of competition, but they are continuously growing. But both are there is a unique market niche they are taking, unique markets they are taking. They are growing, and now they are moving with large number of partners. For example, Abai Farmers I was talking, it is a 34 farmer producer. I want to start up working with the 34. It's a quite sufficient number actually. If you see, they have That's what they are growing continuously. They are growing, sir. We can give more figures.
And
also.
where are they? They are selling in larger cities, or are they selling back in tier 3, tier 4 rural areas? Where are their markets? Where?
They mostly, these away farmers, whatever I'm talking, they are having a lot of market in Hyderabad itself. Then they are reaching through, there is a web portal and all e-commerce platform they are going. And now they are already market demand in the cities, they are doing it. But that next expansion happening, large number of this going, then they will go for tier 2, tier 3. Now, as of now, they are online wherever tier 2 or tier 1 or big cities, they are doing it. But they need to move forward. Next level, yeah.
I see. Okay, great. Are there other wonderful practices that or successes that you are seeing?
You are asking me only or some others, sir?
No. I'm asking others.
Okay.
Manoj,
May I
after you.
contribute,
Yeah,
sir?
Manoj, after you. Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
As Sir had mentioned, for the best technology or practices, whether in India or globally, for the millet production. So right from the beginning, we were having the best genes, best hybrids, genes or best crop for the millets. But due to the ignorance or maybe switch to further requirement for the food security, we have lost some gene pool. But in fact, the focus on millets of the government have created very unique institutions who are just having the best practices. And we have seen in the past also whether after the focus from the research institutions, the millet production at the farmer level at farm gate has been more than doubled from the productivity point of view as per as the overall production also. So when we talk about the technology, we have the sufficient technology. Of course, there is a better technology. There may be a better technology available across the globe, but we actually need of the hour, we can say, is the to provide extension of the technology to the farmers so that they can use the best practices. What are the cultivation techniques? What kind of better seed they can have with the resistant seed and more productivity and production. These kind of practices, if farmer can be reached through research centers, then of course we have the more than 2 times production and productivity at the ground level. That was I just wanted to mention for the technology side. Also, from the startup point of view, many startups are working from right from the production up to the consumption level. We have also, as a NIAM knowledge partner to the Ministry of Agriculture, like Manage and AAU. So we are also promoting a startup who are working in the millets, and we have few startups. But they are basically beautifully designing the products. They are into consumption side. They are making very good products, which is beautifully packaged and to tier 1 and tier 2 customers. So the customers are actually getting attracted towards those products, and they are just shifting their taste towards the millets. That this is the best nutrition, because earlier the millets was a superfood. They are having the 10 times more dietary fibers, better nutrition other than the normal conventional cereal crops we are having. So this shift of the consumer taste is coming, but it is not up to that extent, as Dr. Raj mentioned very rightly, that it takes half of century for shifting from millets to the cereals crops like rice and wheat. So it will take also some time, but as per the focus, we can get that target. But of course, the startup role of a startup is very much important, and the package of practices and technology leads to the farmers, whatever the existing technology is there. If that is reaching to the farmers, that will play a very good role for the production part, and maybe we have some millet revolution like green revolution in the country. Thank you.
So I have just 3 points to add, sir. 3 short, quick points, 3 minutes.
Okay.
I would say something along these lines. If we look at how production systems have turned up for millets specific, Deccan Plateau, the central and the western India, largely these are the places where we see a lot of millet growing, everything happening out here. So from that standpoint, if you see the adoption of millets into mainstream, literally, you see the South is a leader in this. A large part of Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra have created certain kind of clusters where behavioral influence has happened the highest, I would say. Right from millet biryani to millet dosas to whatnot, and it's not easy to make ready to eat and ready to cook foods using millets. Yet these guys in the south have been able to crack it. So if you were to see what is a template, I think this is a better adoption. I still recall old days about 20, 25 years ago when chicky, that is jaggery and peanuts were given in order to increase the nutritional aspect in children. We need to bring about a product. That's point number two. I would like to say that we need to perhaps do it at a government level, some sort of a push to a product which is recognized, so to say, by government agencies or across businesses, which can really pick up and be the product to go to, like we see in medical care or healthcare and these kind of places. A push and a push is really given. That trigger perhaps is missing in this. We could really do that when we are celebrating 2023 International Year of Millets. The third point I wanted to add here is connected to the second one, which is maybe we need to pick up few good templates like I have seen in Karnataka, in Andhra, in Tamil Nadu. Midday meal is using millets. A lot of districts are using millets in the midday meals. I think this is a trust. I think we need to do it across the country wherever it is possible, so that the nutritional aspect is coming in. Easy to grow these kind of crop, doesn't take much time. I think slowly, steadily, all those SDG 2, 3 and the 12, 13 that we are looking at gets targeted across the board this way. That's about it.
Yeah. Yes, Dr. Karthikeyan sir rightly mentioned there is a need for innovation in terms of the product output what we are consuming, because if you see the diverse country like India, the way we consume is different at different locations. I hail from Karnataka. I know how the ragi is consumed in the form of roti or a ragi ball. But if you compare it to northern part of India, there is no comparison, because the way they consume is different. So there is similarly, when I recently happened to see in the Italy, the pizza base is made up in combination of millet based along with wheat also. So based on the consumption pockets, there is of new recipes, and making them aware among the consumers is very important. This is the biggest market, is the biggest pull factor for to make things happen at the ground level, that is at the production level, I would say. To make it happen, I would say we are seeing everywhere the brand endorsement by the celebrities. Why can't we take the celebrities, very national or international celebrities, to become the vocal for local, taking the millets across the globe? Because we are celebrating the International Year of Millets along the lines G20 summit, as India is having the presidency. So this is the right time to act upon these kind of areas, to give a push what already we are doing now in the country level. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that would be that would be a great thing to do, because a lot of the consumption of many sort of unknown ideas is happening through some or the other celebrity introducing it to people, and then they trying it out, and they going forward with it. um, um, I'm keeping an eye on the clock. We have 5 more minutes, you think, from it? Okay.
Yeah, 7 more minutes.
Yeah. Okay. So one thing that I mean, see, one of the difficult aspect of putting together the millet challenge was that millet, of course, is in the backdrop for the millet is the overall agricultural scenario, right? So, and there are several challenges with the overall scenario itself. So then the question is, what are some challenges that are unique to millet? Karthik spoke to some of those. For example, because millets come in a being able to create machines that process millets is a very uniquely millet challenge. I think rancidity, increasing shelf life, uniquely millet challenge. Are there other areas that are uniquely millet areas? For example, Sarvanan, is there a uniquely millet extension challenge? Or are there public policy ideas which are uniquely millet-related ideas that we know. If you can chime in on that, that would be great. Any of you?
That's what I was talking first one only. The extension itself challenge now. That's what I'm telling. Last even 4-5 decades, the extension officers are forgotten about millets actually. They are no more, they are taking the millet technology to the farmers even today. Even though there are state level millet missions and there are certain focused efforts from government of India and there are state governments. But the larger system, R&D system, they are over the years, they are doing some other thing other than millet actually. Then you need to reboot entire system, then they need to be trained and even the package of practices, it may not available everywhere. It may be in the, as Manoj was telling, it may be in the only research stations, institutions, websites it's available. But all the farmers, it may not be reaching because the package itself over the years, we are doing generations, but they forgotten now, last 4 or 5 decades. That means the entire extension system need to revive on how millets really they can take. Then we need to have the more efforts on extension itself. Apart from that, millet itself is the variety of millets and it needs different processing, cultivation, starting to and processing, all things. It has a great challenge. Otherwise, millet itself comes into the dryland area itself has a lot of great challenge. Dryland area cultivation itself challenge. Then millet always has the great challenges in all productivity to process, self-life processing. And another unique thing today, everybody will claim millet is good for health. And whether it is very well proven clinical trials, other things, why then farmers and others, the rural population, they didn't start consuming. Those type of, we need to validate many things, we need to validate, we need to create a lot of credibility and trust on concepts of millet so that it's really healthy like that. Even though we are endorsing healthy and all startups, everybody claiming, but how it is validated, that validation, whether it is accepted by the large community, then only it will be taken away. That means there are challenges taking extension system to acceptance among the farmers, even availability to the rural, it's affordable cost, availability also not. That means much more opportunities, there are a lot of challenges we need to work big way. Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
So I have something to add here. Sorry,
Yes.
sorry.
Please, Karthik. I was going to summarize to say that one would need that end-to-end intervention. Just like we did with the Green Revolution, we would need that end-to-end intervention at all levels to, So over to you, Karthik.
I just wanted to add here, sir, that FPOs across the country have gained or have got some sort of an ascendance and prominence and whatnot. But it is very low when you compare it with FPOs working on millets. Primarily because the whole system is so confused. The farmers don't know where they are selling, to whom they are selling, how they are going about. There's no much local consumption. So the best way for that would be market segmentation. What is the product that we are talking about? And large part of it is to be consumed, especially in tier 1, tier 2 kind of cities where, because it's a powerhouse and storehouse of nutrient and all that we know. So that is where it needs to be positioned. And there's a lot of work to happen on product development itself. So that these FPOs actually know a lot of work can happen at primary level to a point in time where a startup picks it up, does that kind of a product, and is able to sell it there. For example, this ragi. There are these ragi, small little snack items, sweet it comes in, which children can consume instead of cornflakes in the morning. This is a very unique item, takes care of calcium and iron deficiency in children. Very unique product. But there's a lot of hard work that goes into collection of ragi from the field, doing the processing, getting the right machinery for it, etc. So when we are able to focus it this way, market segmentation and positioning of a product, a lot of work can happen in a very systematic manner this way, I feel, sir.
Yeah. No, okay. So, well, we will certainly be some of the people who would be working towards it. I just mindful of time. Let me end on a slightly more appetizing note. Sure. And by the way, Karthik, I agree with you. Some of the best millet-based food I have eaten at restaurants has been in Karnataka. But here's a question for each of you. What is your favorite millet product? And we will end with.
Sure, sir.
Which dosa? Ragi dosa.
Ragi dosa, sir. Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay. Dr. Nandi, anything to
Yes, of course, ragi roti is the best, all-time favorite, along with the ragi balls, sir.
Yes.
And those who eat a non-veg,
Ragi
they best combination for ragi balls and non-veg in especially
Ragi mudde, yes.
southern part of Karnataka.
Oh, I see. Ragi mudde with non-veg.
Yes, sir.
I see. Okay. What about Manoj? Any?
Sir, we have millet cookies and cakes over here, and which is the best one in North India probably. So startups are also
wow.
providing these kind of cakes and cookies, and these are very tasty as per the normal cookies and very nutritious as well. So these are the, you can say, the only things, bakery products we are seeing in here in Rajasthan and nearby areas, and these are the favorite ones also because they startups have changed the taste. Earlier, like pearl millet, they are making products, and the pearl millet, when you eat, you cannot eat even a half of cookies or one cookies. But they have changed like with some technology that you can have 3-4 cookies at a time, cakes also. They are very delicious and very beautifully designed. So I think from my side, cookies and cakes are the favorite ones.
Okay. And then Sarvanan.
Sir, actually, ragi, my two dishes very favorite, sir. In case my mother cooks ragi, we used to call in Telugu chagatti, something like that. I can't tell, like something like ragi mudda, but little still more it is loose and this one. No, inside she put something like what is sugar, jaggery. This one, that jaggery she will put. And very hot, and the jaggery will melt, and we will eat that one. That may be one of the best. Ragi based millet food. And second one, 5 years I was in studying in Bangalore, and there ragi mudda. And ragi mudda, it is not only ragi mudda eating, how to eat also we need to know. That was taught by my friends
Very
from
important.
Karnataka. There is some unique thing. How to
Yes, sir.
ragi mudda. You can't chew and you need to swallow it, and also how to take this some chickpea or something, that gravy along with it. That is itself something we need training. That's very interesting. Ragi mudda. Both are very wonderful to eat. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think with that, sorry, you were going to add something?
Sir, just to say that if you ask the same question to the new generation, younger generation, we may come with dozens of recipes, maybe cakes, pizzas, and that sort of, based out of millets, maybe. Yes.
True.
Okay, yes, maybe. Let me not hazard doing so. But I hope that with that last bit of conversation, we have created a few more curious consumers of millets. And let me thank each of you for your time to join us and share your thoughts. As you know, we're just getting started. And I think from these challenges, we are very hopeful that some very exciting startups would come our way that we can support. As you know, New India Challenge supports each startup for up to 1.5 crores over about 12 to 18 months to bring them out into the market. And then, of course, there's more conversation to be had with various stakeholders as the year of millet approaches us. So thank you very much. A very happy Diwali to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
And see you very soon.
Right, sir. Thank you so much.
Very advanced Diwali wishes you are telling, sir, next year. Thank you very much, sir.
What is that?
Yes.
No, very advanced happy Diwali you are telling, sir. For next year you are Thank you.
Very advanced, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank
Good
you.
day.
Thank you so much.
Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you all panelists and panel members.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Nandan, for all arrangements. Thank you very much for keeping with us.
Thank you everyone for joining in. Whoever has joined us through YouTube as well as on this WebEx. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate you taking out time and joining in this conversation. And we have just got started, as Dr. Chintan said, with the International Year of Millets coming in 2 months' time. So we are geared up for far more actions, and there will be a lot of activities that have ecosystem and where AIM will play its own part. So thank you so much for today's session. Really appreciate. Have a good day.
Thank you, Pramit. Thank you.